Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You want to know the best way to build him? Well, let me give you the core information you need to carry right now. The first thing you need to know is that he's a melee type, so he's going to be pushing out a bunch of strike arts, and he even has blast arm on his strike pre and post transformation. So when building the team, consider the Z abilities as you'd want more strike damage as well as the equipments. His element is green. For some reason, every premium Super Saiyan 3 Goku is green, but you'd want to know he's useful against some units such as Ultra Turlers, and when you're building him on the teams that I show in this video, you want to consider if it's more worth it to use him over anybody else, or in some cases run 2 greens. So the best way or the safest way to run 2 greens would be to put them with 1 yellow so that the yellow can protect them from purples, or you run 1 green, which would be the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and consider running 2 reds so that Goku can protect the reds from blues. He doesn't have survivability even though he can cancel buffs, so consider pairing him with characters that do have survivability such as endurance, indestructible, or comeback. Let's get into the core teams he could be used on. So right here we got Majin Buu Saga. Super Saiyan 3 Goku is at the leader slot, but obviously this isn't the new one. Leader slot options could be various, but just note that this Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I'm just using him as a placeholder because I'm recording this prior to him releasing. On the team, we've got Gotenks, and this is meant to emulate Ultra Majin Vegeta, who I also don't have. This could be a team that would work because there's 2 endurance units. 2 of the units also cancel buffs, which would be Majin Vegeta and the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Gotenks doesn't, but he also has endurance, and you also cover 3 elements, which is really nice. They're not the only options you can have. If you go to character list, let's look at some other 3 that you could use. So if you want to use Fusing Super Vegeta, he's a very good option, but he doesn't cancel buffs, but he's mainly an offensive power because he can obviously win the Rising Rush whenever. If we look at the greens, Evil Majin Buu is obviously a good option if you want to run a double green, but obviously we want to use the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku as the main green. Going into the purples, it's Ultimate Gohan. He's going to be a good option because a lot of people are going to be running the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku, so bear that in mind. In the yellow, Ultra Majin Vegeta is your main man, but you could also consider the free-to-play 18. That could be an option. And then in the reds, we've got Shin and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Don't even consider the free-to-play Majin Vegeta in my opinion, but if you did want to, you could run leader slot options. These aren't the only, so we've got like the new Goku, but I'll get into that later in this video. Next up, we got Saiyans. I know a lot of you guys are still attached to Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Using him is okay, but it's very risky. Just bear in mind that if Ultra Majin Vegeta catches you, you're pretty much going to get one-shotted. We've obviously got the placebo Ultra Majin Vegeta, just the fake placeholder. Then we've also got the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku as the placeholder. But let's go into some other options that you could run on Saiyans, because there is a lot of Saiyans, but also just to be mindful of the fact that there's loads of Saiyans. They have different Z abilities, so they might not buff Saiyans specifically, so be wary of where the Z abilities are going. Let's look at some core options that you could actually run. So in the blue section, Fusing Super Vegeta is going to be a very good pick. I would also consider, if you're struggling, Boo Bros, Bomku potentially, and Bardock and Goku, but most of the blues are really bad except for Fusing Super Vegeta. There's going to be some I don't have, but I'll get into those last. If we're going into the greens, obviously it's going to be the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but if you're really struggling, you could potentially bring out Pikkon. Vegeta is obviously a good option nonetheless, but do you want to run 2 greens and risk that? That's up to you. Outside of that, going into purples, I already have Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta there as a placeholder, but the rest of the purples are not even the best options. Of course, you could leader slot some people, but I'll get into that later. Going into yellow, we've got Ultra Majin Vegeta, who's going to be your number 1, but some other options, we've got Fusing Gogeta Blue, Super Baby 2, Ultra UI, just to mention some of them that you could use. Then going into the reds are pretty much lackluster, I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't consider them, but let's look at the characters I don't have. So I already mentioned Ultra Majin Vegeta. Ultra Turles is going to be a good option, but he's leaning more in the powerful opponent area, so be wary of that. Nappa and Vegeta are good because of their revival. That's going to keep you alive to some degree. You might want to consider Rose and God Goku, but the main thing is that you be wary of how the Z abilities cross over. But if I was going to run 3, I would consider basically using G4, because there's going to be a lot of people using the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Then I'd run Ultra Majin Vegeta and the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku, then making the rest of the team basically Majin Buu Saga, while having 1 unit at the top, which is Saiyans. Next up, we got Sun Family. I've got 2 units here, and the third one is meant to be Ultimate Gohan, but I also don't have him. But essentially, all of these teams are just variations of Majin Buu Saga, which is pretty crazy. Units from other tags are just not holding up as well. But in this case, I've got the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Fusing Super Vegeta, and I'll have Ultimate Gohan, who's going to come with endurance and buff cancellation. Super Saiyan 3 Goku has buff cancellation, and Fusing Super Vegeta is a really good offensive power because of his Rising Rush. But if we go into the character list, I can show you some other options as well. So we're looking at Sun Family here. Of course, we've got Fusing Super Vegeta in the blue. You might want to consider Boo Bros if you want to lean more to the Majin Buu Saga type of team. Bardock and Goku because they're indestructible, but they're bad outside of that. Maybe just to start a combo. Bomku's a really lackluster option, but he exists. Going into the greens, if you're not running the Goku, or if you are running the Goku, which you should be because that's what this video is about, but you want to run another green alongside him, Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is your best bet, I'm not going to lie. Going into the purples, it's pretty lackluster besides from Ultimate Gohan, who I mentioned before. Going into the yellows, we got Fusing Gogeta Blue. Ultra UI is an option if you want to create that Sun Family team. Ultra UI is going to be more of a dodging option, and Fusing Gogeta Blue, it's really if you have him higher starred more than anything else. And in the reds, you might want to consider Beast Gohan, but I really wouldn't. And Pan could be a good support, but I also wouldn't. Then some characters I don't have. Triku because of break combos. God Goku comes with endurance if you're running buff cancellation. But just remember the Z ability thing that I mentioned, similar to Saiyans. It's going to have an effect, especially with Sun Family. Things might not work out as smooth. Now, just to address some leader slot options, because there is a lot and you don't have to stick strictly to the tags, because a lot of the best teams will actually use a lot of these units on the leader slot, or depending on who you have, you might just find it easier for you to play the game if you do leader slot some of these options. So for example, Rose Goku Black, this guy here has endurance and he cancels buffs, which could be good attribute towards the addition of Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So yeah, that's the first one I've got here. Ultra Turles, obviously because of his comeback, but he can also do long combos, and he's actually blue, which could be useful depending on the PvP enemies. We've got Ultra Majin Vegeta, should be self-explanatory. He's on some of his teams as well, like Majin Buu Saga and Saiyans, but he's not on Sun Family, so you could leader slot him there. Ultimate Gohan, he's on Sun Family, but he's also on Majin Buu Saga, but not on Saiyan, so that's an option for him there. He obviously has the endurance and the buff cancellation. We've got Vegeta, one of the best units in the game right now, should be self-explanatory if we're being honest. After that, G4, just be wary of Ultra Majin Vegeta. One slip up and you're dead, but now that people are using Super Saiyan 3 Goku, a lot of people will be looking to use purples to get rid of him if he's very much of a hindrance in PvP. And then of course the new Daima Goku is obviously going to be somebody people are going to be running. With him getting endurance on Rush, and he also cancels buffs off Rush, he might be a problem as well, and people might want to leader slot him, so he might be an option. Especially being red, he also cancels Ultra Majin Vegeta, who's a big pain in PvP right now. Now here are just some Z ability options and Zenkai buffs. So these are just the bench that you'd be running if you're going to be considering the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So if I go to the details, we've got this Gohan here, Piccolo assist. His main reason is that he's going to be a Zenkai buffer. So if I open the kit here, show details, you can see the Zenkai ability is Green Sun Family, which obviously Goku is. The Z ability is also going to buff because of Sun Family. Please be mindful of what team you're going to be running him on. We've got this guy here, he's going to be a Z ability as well as a Zenkai buffer. The Z ability is kind of weak, but the Zenkai buff's obviously what you're looking for. And then we've got some Z abilities down here. So we've got Boo Bros. Boo Bros might Zenkai buff somebody else on the team, but the Z ability is pretty nice as well. Majin Buu Saga. We've got Fusing Super Vegeta, who I doubt you will, but if you have him 14 stars, you get the HP buff for Majin Buu Saga, which is nice. We've got Tien here. His Z ability is pretty nice as well for Majin Buu Saga. That's going to be useful. And then we've also got this Yamcha if you're considering like a green yellow type of team like I mentioned earlier, or even if you want to put a red or double red, it could work out, but you'd be sacking off some of the Z ability here. These are just some options that I think are nice, and it depends on what you're running and it would vary. But of course you could just consider having multiple units that are actually viable in PvP also as the bench, depending on who your enemies bring in. Especially with Majin Buu Saga, they don't even need that great of a bench and they thrive. So we're going into some equipments now. We've got this one here, Defiant Gohan. It's pretty much an all-round equipment. You get HP, double defenses and double offenses. It's for Majin Buu Saga, and how you can get this is from the Ultimate Equipment Collection. We've got this equipment here. It's for Sun Family. Unleash your true power. You get blast defense, and then you get pure of each. Just bear in mind that it could be either strike or blast defense depending on how you want to build him. You can get both offenses here, so blast attack and strike attack, pure up to 12% I believe it is, and then you also get defenses. You can get this from the dual coin exchange shop. This one here is a very valuable equipment for Majin Buu Saga, not bad yourself. base blast defense, you get the pure of both 12%, and you get double defenses up to 20%. It's for Majin Buu Saga Saiyan. How to get this? You get this from the dual coin exchange shop. We've got this equipment here, and normally this equipment wouldn't be that great, but you do get the strike attack, which is really good, and double defenses. But the key recovery could come in handy because the new Goku's gauge is depending on his key charge rate. So if you have good key recovery, that would help you out. I believe you can get this from the Ultimate Equipment Collection. Even if it doesn't, the strike attack is still good. So Ultimate Equipment Collection, where you get this if you want to run it. We've got this equipment here, but the first slot can kind of go to waste because he doesn't have an ultimate art, but he does do special move damage. So special move damage 12%, then you're going to have to get between strike and blast attack on the middle slot. You'll get the strike attack. Then you'll also get 5 to 10% to strike and blast attack if battle member other than his character is a Majin Buu Saga unit. It's for Majin Buu Saga. I wouldn't say necessarily to go out your way and grind this, but if you do have it, it can come in handy. And you can get this, the memory, from the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush Shop, but you're going to need the unawakened version to actually grind it. So this one here, special move, you can choose between strike and blast attack. Then here, strike and blast attack again. Say in Majin Buu Saga, you might even want to consider just running the unawakened version. But I'm saying if you have the awakened version, then you can use it, but you wouldn't need to go out your way to grind it, in my opinion. Here, you can get this from the Equipment Medal Exchange Shop. This one here, Awaken Fui. I don't even know how am I supposed to pronounce that. Fui. You get basically a balanced equip, you know. Double defenses, some HP, and double offenses. This is for Majin Buu Saga, depending on what type of build you're going for. And you can get this memory from the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush Shop, where you're going to need the unawakened version, which is right here. You see it over here. And you can get this from the Equipment Medal Exchange Shop. That's going to be the end of the video. Let me know what you thought about this video. I actually changed the formatting of the video a lot to add a lot more information that's very specific to the new unit. I gave you a rundown of his kit and the best way you should play around him. And on top of that, gave you the usual best core teams, but I separated the bench, giving you only specific options so we can zone in more on the new unit. I think it was a much better format, but I need the feedback in the comment section, so let me know. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one, man.